Hello everyone, and welcome back to our video series of smart polling. In this particular video, I'm really going to focus on how you create a poll and different poll types. Okay, so again, I'm at the main page of polleverywhere.com. Remember, this is the poll that we're using as sort of our example tool, but there's so many different tools like GoDaddy and SurveyMonkey and other tools that are out there that have similar features. So really what I'm modeling here and showing you here can be replicated in other tools. Every tool has this unique interface and some different features, but you get a great sense of what's really out there. Okay, so going back to my polls, and here I am over here on my polls, and here is the main polling area. Okay, so I'm going to go here to create a poll. Is really simple. You just hit create. And what's really nice about, I think, Poll Everywhere is they really have a nice user interface. It's really easy to sort of navigate this and to look through different poll types of what's really out there. So let's kind of go through this. The standard one certainly is your multiple choice question. And here you would certainly add your question. And what's really nice about Poll Everywhere is you can also import an image. All right, so you can add an image right to your question. And certainly you could then add text or URLs or other options for choices, and you could also add an image to each choice as well, and you can certainly add your choices down here too. Now, what's nice from Poll Everywhere, or right from this screen, you can now send this poll to an ungrouped poll, or you can kind of send it to one of your other groups that you've already created if you wanted to actually do that, which is really kind of nice as well. Okay, now what I can do is we'll just do a test question. Are you looking forward to summer? Okay, great. It's more of an opinion question. Yes, certainly, no. I can add another answer choice. I can create the poll, or I can add another activity where I can add another question. Okay, create it. You are looking forward to summer. Okay, so I could add another activity. And now I could add another question, or I can add a different type of question. So I could add multiple questions within this particular poll. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. Okay, now, very simple, right? Now, in terms of what you're doing here, you also have word clouds, which are really fun, where when the answers appear on your screen, they appear as a word cloud, where the word that gets the most hits becomes larger and more emphasized. Now, with these polls, I've noticed when I'm working with folks, with students or with clients, that these polls can be great, but depends on how the audience answers the poll. Meaning, if someone in the audience answers in multiple words, right, each of those words is counted individually. So like the, right, might come up as really big because everybody's using the word the in their phrase. So try to phrase your questions in very explicit terms where you're looking for a one-word answer, or if you really must have a 2 or 3 word answer, if you have your audience respond either through a dash between each word or an underscore between each word, then that phrase will be counted individually, okay, as a whole, rather than each word individually. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. The audience favorite's kind of fun, where we can post a poll, and then the audience can rank that answers whether they really kind of like it. Sort of kind of a question and answer with your audience. Then they can respond back, and you can answer. You can ask another question. Okay. The rank order is really neat, where after everybody responds, you can then have them order the responses in a certain order, which is kind of neat in terms of what did they like best, what was their preference, okay? But it really comes for the choice, the responses are what's being ranked, okay? The audience's responses are being ranked, okay? That's kind of interesting. Clickable image, which is really kind of fun. They give you some images here. That's really, in terms of all they give you, you really can't, unfortunately, you can upload your own image, and then you can put clicks around it, which is really kind of fun and exciting. So your audience will respond by clicking a certain part of the image. There's a lot of great uses for this in terms of focus groups and attention to certain images, in terms of marketing, for education uses, certainly, as you can see here, in terms of maps, in terms of analyzing images, in terms of analyzing artwork, political cartoons. Really a lot of great options here of clickable image. Okay. Survey certainly is what it is, and you can create multiple questions here in a survey title. So here, we start off with this multiple choice question and we added another activity to it. But if you're really looking to do multiple questions, I would suggest doing a survey, because here it gives you the drop down of what question type you want. Okay, and select the question type you want, and then you keep on adding more and more questions to that survey, and that's really awesome. I use open-ended a lot for discussion starters, where your audience can respond with multiple sentences, short paragraphs, right? And that's a great discussion starter. Okay, and then there's so much more, and a lot of these are kind of, should I say, templates, sort of pre-formatted questions. If you want to do an icebreaker for a meeting, there's the icebreaker question. If you want to do a leaderboard, right? This is more of the rank and order sort of survey where you can sort of, put all the leaderboards of the teams, right? An emotional scale to kind of gauge people's feelings on an issue, right? Great. Self-paced quiz, right? They've always kind of great things here. Spotlight. Please submit questions for our leadership panel. Retrospective, what did we learn this week? What did we learn, right? What did we do this week? That's a great exit ticket for educators. Nice way to assign teams. Discussion starters, brainstorming, ranking again, right? The map question, right? You can't really change these. Short answer, certainly, bulleted board, and the 2x2 matrix is kind of neat, where they would sort of click and put a plot on the axis. Okay, so you got some great ones they've already created, but most of them are kind of based off these, right? These are your main categories, and these ones are certainly just different types that are from those main categories. Okay, so let's talk, before we get to organizing polls, let's talk a little bit about how you deliver a poll, and I think that will be important. So once you've created a poll, here's all my list of different polls and things that I have out there, right? And those aspects. Okay, here's one I did, sort of a short answer question where we were having the audience analyze film documentaries and what makes for a strong documentary. And these are just some of the answers, and this is how it kind of pops up as the answers come out. All right, as the audience types them in, they just sort of appear like this. And when you can kind of see here, I can make this full screen so you get a sense of what a poll looks like, and they can respond multiple ways. They can respond at pollev.com, and you will get sort of your own unique URL. And this is great for everybody who goes to the web. I really like this a lot. I prefer this over the texting message. It gets a little bit cumbersome because they got to text this keyword at one time to this number to join, and then they from now on can use just their SMS texting to respond. When smartphones were sort of the weren't always the most common phone out there, that was sort of not always an issue, but now everybody on a smartphone, obviously I think the poll is easier with the website. This pushes the poll out, it activates it. These are your settings, which great visual settings where you can kind of change the text. You can change it to a word cloud, which see how that looks really crazy because there's no, how should I say, one word answer. The cluster is kind of neat. It sort of all puts them in different positions. And the spotlight is brand new, where you kind of have one kind of highlighted over the others, and then you can kind of switch back, all right? This is going to replace the ticker, so that was unfortunate, okay? And then we can kind of just scroll up, and that's the one in the spotlight, okay? So there's your text wall. You can kind of loop it, so it keeps on going on and on and on and on. This is really kind of cool. You can change all your color schemes to match any color you want for branding. You can change your fonts, you can change your title. How your audience responds, these are all visual. So everything, how the way it looks, the background and so forth. Those are your visual settings up here. This basically hides the wall. So this is kind of a nice feature where perhaps you would like your audience to respond first before they see the other respondents' answers being presented. You don't want them to be influenced by what's already on the screen. So, and it also gives you nice direction because it shows you texting exactly how it would work. And it also shows you how you would type your response with the URL link, which is really kind of nice. You can lock your poll, which means that no one can enter any more responses. And you can clear the results and archive the results so that you can kind of have a clear slate to run your poll. And down here, I know it's kind of hiding you can see the total number of people who responded. This little feature here, these little arrows, actually goes in and out to the next poll. So we could kind of toggle to our next poll. Now these are all ungrouped polls, but if you're in a group, which is really nice, you can go from each poll within the group back and forth. So this actually serves as a mini presentation tool itself. You don't even need to embed your slides, or excuse me, your poll into a slideshow or to a PowerPoint. You can actually just present from here. So it's up to you. So let's get out of that full screen. And you can also do some how people can respond. And they can respond via a website. Let me make this bigger so we can all see that a little bit. They can respond by a website, which I like, because they can go right to the web. It doesn't have to be on their phone. They can respond by texting. All right. You can also do the identity. Everyone can participate, no restrictions. You can see some of these are for the paid plans. This is really nice because this is a new feature, which how do you want to identify participants? Basically, when they respond to a poll, it's going to ask them to put their name in if they like, but they can put any name in they want. All right. And this is completely anonymous. Response settings, how many people can respond to each poll? Can they change their answers? Right. You can schedule times to make your poll available, which is really kind of neat. And then the moderation feature, if you have the full version, you can enable moderation and you can filter different aspects. Okay, so that's really helpful. Testing to look what your poll is actually going to look like when you see it on a phone or on the web, or if this is the text message, this is how they're going to actually respond. So this kind of gives them some directions, which is really kind of helpful. Okay, and then in terms of presenting, how to present this right from the web, and then you can download the PowerPoint slide so you can sort of have that embedded into your presentation, which we'll come back to later. Okay, and then we have the sharing. Here's the response link. You can respond right here. You can also post it via email. You can post it via Twitter, post it via Facebook. So again, a great way to integrate your social media aspects. All right, and there's the unique URL to this poll. So this poll has this URL. It will not change. So you can actually, people can respond to it later. And this is when the URL, if the poll is active live. So as you change your polls, this link will always refer to the poll that's active right now that you're using. Okay, and then live results. Click live results chart with real results. You can kind of embed that if you wanted to, and you can embed your polls as well if you want to put a poll on your website or on your blog. Really kind of neat. It gives you the widget, which is all you got to do is copy the HTML text, right? And it gives you you copy and paste that. And this is how, if you're using Microsoft Sway, you can do that as well. This is how it will appear right on your website. So a lot of really neat features, I think, in terms of sharing polls, presenting polls, creating polls as well. Okay, so I hope this was a useful tour of how you create a poll and the different poll types and how you actually send the poll out to get your responses. All right, thank you so much. Have a great day.